What's going on, y'all? Another episode, HBCU. Homecoming brings culture and unity, man. We rocking and rolling. Dana, episode number 10, man. So we keep on turning up. So we appreciate y'all support. Man, check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Just check us out. Just Google us, man. I'm here with my homeboy T, Mr. OG himself, Original Garments, man. We had a blast a few weeks ago at Homecoming. I know we talked about it, but my app, Let Bob, is actually in the App Store, man. So you can download it. Just Google or App Store, Let Bob. Got the Bob shirt, Let Bob, man.
Black on.
Yeah, black owned business, man. Gotta be fight the power. But now, definitely excited, man. So definitely go to your App Store, Google Play Store, man. Let Bob download us, let us help you out. Anyways, though, as we said, we got our homeboy Bryan in the building. He went to TSU as well, man. So we support our coach. You know what I'm saying? Coach Carter in the house. So Bryan, man, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. Where you from, and all the good stuff you're doing in the community right now.
I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it, no kidding. Breaking down a swish in front of your building. Sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings. Last night it was a cold killing. You gotta keep the devil in his hole, nigga. But you know how it goes.
My name's Bryan Howard, Coach Howard. Originally from Miami, Florida, and moved here to DC, Maryland, DC area, DMV area around 2015. Went to school at TSU, Tennessee State University. Shout out to the HBCU. And I've been coaching for about, since 2012. So at least about 10 years now. Started out in Nashville, just doing voluntary work as far as AAU with the Tennessee Panthers. Then eventually moved here with my job in 2015. And just decided to say, hey, I want to embark on coaching. And throughout that, before going to high school, I was doing AAU coaching. So that's where I started. And now, 7 years later, getting started in high school. I started high school in 2015, as I stated before, and then went into, started out as a freshman coach. I was doing freshman coach where I was just the guy trying to start up and making a way for his name. Moved here with no family, and particularly all my family stays in Atlanta and in Miami. So kind of on my own, just took a chance, network, built relationships, and kind of just started from the ground up. And then eventually got into assistant coaching, varsity coaching. I won when I was a freshman. Sorry to be all over the place, but when I was a freshman coach, I started doing just basic workouts, just volunteering, getting kids in, kind of helping kids who wanted to just get extra work in. So I started a program where I did early morning workouts where the school wasn't doing it at the time, and just getting in the gym, getting kids there in the gym. And the kids seemed to like it. So I built a relationship with the kids, parents. Long story short, my 4 years at St. Vincent Pallotti High School is where I started. I won 2 championships. Every year we went to the championship, but I won 2 championships out of 4 years. Of course, we lost 2, but every year we were in the championship. And then from there, went to Concordia, which is in Townsend, Maryland, Concordia Prep, where I am right now as a head varsity coach. At a private high school, the only Black head coach at the school, and the youngest. So had a lot to prove and build it from the ground up. Now, moving forward, been there for 4 years. Team has never won a championship, and we won the championship last year. So just been dedicated to the work. As T Wiggs know, I've been doing this for a while. But, I've just been blessed to be able to have the talent to impact not only a community, but impact young people to not only be good on the court, but off the court as well, to build character.
Man, it's dope seeing your journey, man, from all the way back from TSU. I mean, I knew you hooped. I hooped. A baller can always tell a baller. Mario hooped too. So it's kind of cool, like seeing your transition and staying close to the game. Which is what I wanted to do at some point. I was like, man, I want to stay close to the game. I want to coach, but I'm the coach that's gonna be like, give me the ball, let me just show you how to do it versus training. And I know that's me, so I was like, I ain't gonna be able to do it. You know what I mean? So I commend you, man. I've seen your journey. You got out the mud and like just getting a chip, bro. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like, I knew you was gonna get to that level, but I didn't know it was gonna be that quick, bro. And that just goes to show, man, like hard work pays off, man. And salute to you for that. Did they give you a ring for that, or y'all got a banner? What? How
So we're supposed to have the reveal of the banner our first game. We have rings. My ring is somewhere in here, but
you like I ain't done yet.
No, man. So it's definitely something that I'm very proud of. However, the mission is not completed.
Yeah,
we actually move up to a higher conference this year. So we were benefited enough to move up in conference, MIAA-B conference, which is in Baltimore. It's a very, very big conference, as you know, which in the Baltimore area, but we play throughout the DMV area as well as out of state too. So, man, it's been a lovely journey. You had to go through COVID. You gotta make a name for yourself, because who's this young kid that nobody really knows? But man, you just put your nose to the ground and just keep working, man. Everything else work itself out.
You hear so many stories of like AAU, like dog eats dogs, the coaches trying to take all the money from the sponsorships. Like, how crazy was AAU? Like, I play AAU, but I was just a player. Like, didn't play that much at AAU, but you being on the other side. Like, how was AAU? Is it really that bad?
I will say it's bad because it's politics. Mm-hmm. When you get politics involved, monetary things are involved, like it just gets screwed up. Back when, pretty sure we played AAU, like you said, you really didn't know about it. It was just more so it just play, and it was a kind of a growing thing at the time back in, 2003, 2000, back in those times. But what I've learned through AAU is that they don't, and I don't mean to say this for the masses, that they don't teach, they don't develop. Because it's fast paced. You're going every weekend. You probably practice once, twice out of the week, and you're not developing kids. You're just more so, just doing gameplay type of things where you're not taking isolated time to just develop kids. And not saying all coaches do that, but from what I've seen at the totality of it, the more percentage of it is that we're not developing kids at those levels. So when you see them go to college or you see them go to the NBA, they're still behind. They're just going off athleticism. But when it's time to think the game and when it's time to understand the game, and maybe Russell Westbrook is kind of finding out, we kind of talked about it, off air, is Russell Westbrook is finding out is that his athleticism is declining. So what else are you doing? You can't shoot, you can't, make free throws, so what else can you do? And I think the art of that has been lost, of teaching the fundamental of the game.
It's hard for Westbrook right now, bro. And too, bro, it's hard, man. Like, I was part of the camp. Like, come on, Westbrook, come in, man. Like, y'all gonna make it work. Man, fool, if I was the GM, I've been fired, fool. I'd have been fired, because that just has not been working, man. Not at all.
Nah, for real though, man.
Talk about the AAU circuit. Like, in the back of your mind, like, do you kind of envy the AAU circuit because of the politics, the sponsorships, kids seeing the lights that come along with it, selling we got duffels, we got shoes, we got, we traveling every weekend, you playing with old boy that's good from at the other school and old boy from down the street, and we just gonna go like play basketball versus going to practice, running drills. Like, are you somewhat envious that that's how the kids portray getting to the next level versus like putting in the hard work?
I don't envy it because, I've done it. And I'm gonna be honest, and this may sound, boastful, or it may sound conceited. But man, I'm just confident in my teachings. I'm confident in the way I coach. So I don't really worry about, others, really, like, to be bluntly honest. However, and I always live by the creed, you control what you control and leave everything else in God's hands. So I don't worry myself with something I can't really control. But however, I know I put the work in. I know, I'm dedicated, and I know I'm actually real with my kids. And I think that's why they love to play for me, or what they say, but I think, that's why, I have kids and they don't leave, what I mean? It's because of, I'm real with them. I'm transparent. And I think kids want that, and need that, especially in this type of environment. They need that. They need someone who's real and not be able to sugarcoat some things. But I don't envy it because, at the end of the day, it's about what I am putting out for those kids to develop. Anything else after that, it's just, like I said, it's out of my control.
Look, seeing the team before COVID, I was like, man, it's gonna be a rough road. Coach Young, like they about to be like, all right, make it happen. And bro, and to see, I'm like, bro, you got 3 solids. Everybody else just putting the jersey on, body, get some fouls. And I'm like, yeah, coach. And then you win the chip, bro. That shows a lot of what you said, your training, your teachings. I'm like, bro, I ain't see it. But I'm not a coach though. Yeah. So you knew what you had to do to get to where an end result. And man, you did
I would say this, what I've learned, because I'm still young in the game, I'm very young in the game, but for what I've learned is that if you can get somebody to run through a brick wall for you, I mean, X's and O's is just like bread and butter, you know what I mean? But if someone, you can't teach effort, you can't teach,
heart.
Yeah, you can't teach heart. I was just about to say, I think, that's a player right there. Heart, you can't teach effort. So if those things are, kind of build upon and enhance, then X's and O's will just come. If you think about it, you only really lead 3 or 4 plays in any type of, game. Just seriously. And I shouldn't say that. Somebody gonna listen and be like, Coach only got 3 plays. But but no, in all seriousness, you only need 3 or 4 plays to execute when you need to execute. But whenever you need someone to dive on a loose ball or take a charge or help your brother up if he's not shooting good, pick him up when he's down. Those little things, man, those details. And I always tell my kids, man, pay attention to details because it goes far. It's not just basketball. It's life. It's work. It's, parenting, just paying attention to details. So, I'm all about the little things.
So what was your record? So COVID, right? And then so you got a record, and then you had the record the next year when y'all won the chip. So what was the record the first year? What was the record the second year?
My first year before COVID. So my first year.
Wait, your snapback be snapping, boy.
I didn't get no hat. But my the first year, I'm gonna tell you this story. T-Wigs know the story. My first year, I inherited. So I got the job 2018, 2019. Everybody left the previous season during the season. So I came back with only 11 kids in the program, total JV varsity, which that means you don't even have a 5. You only got 5 for JV, 5 for varsity. But anyway, I kind of built upon that. And that first year we went 8-16, but the 8 games we won, or 6 out of the 8 games we won were in conference, and we were able to go to the playoffs. And it was the first time in about 5 years of school history. The second year, COVID hits, we still play games, but we have a winning season. They let us play 10 games or whatnot. And then the year after, which was, last year, we ended up winning 13 out of the last 14 games and end up going, I think I want to say 20-11. Mm-hmm. And we started off very, very rocky. But needs to say we end up winning 13 out of the last 14 games and end up winning the championship. So, every year since my first year has been winning records. And this year, now we're moving up to a higher conference. Is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. And looking forward to forward to the challenge.
So what was the switch? So, y'all had 13 or 14 wins, but the first half was rocky. What happened? Like, it wasn't new players, right? So, like, what actually happened to flip that switch and have them buy in?
I think you kind of hit it on the nail. Hit on the nail. It's like they had to buy in, right? I don't think you lose philosophy. I don't think you lose teaching. I think you stay the course, keep doing the same thing, encourage guys, hey, this is just a moment. Let's go through this rough patch. And just, have them believe, you know what I mean? And also get away from the game too. Sometimes, let's do some off season, go kick it somewhere. Just kind of decompress. And I think our first game back after New Year's, we had our first conference game. And I think from there, we just took off, kids believe, and they started to see, oh, coach actually knows what he's talking about. It's like like a kid, dad don't know what he's talking about, but as soon as somebody else says something, it's, oh yeah. So it was something similar to that effect, but it's just more so of they bought in and staying consistent to the course.
So I got a question for you. I know the coaching kind of persona and look has changed over the years. I mean, you got your Coach Cowles, you got your
John Thompson with the towel on
yeah. So you got like that perception like of an old school coach, gray hair, older guy. But now the younger guys are kind of coming around. But you being at like a private prep school, like coming into the gym, are the other coaches respecting you? Are they like looking at you like, oh, you the assistant? Or like you one of the players? Like, are you getting like a disrespect? Or they kind of know like kind of how you roll? They like, oh, okay, that's the head coach. Like y'all meet and stuff. But have you got that whole like they looking by you because they thinking you like a player or you like a friend of the team? Like, have you ever had to deal with something like that?
Man, that's a great ass question. I can curse on my bad. That's a good question.
Go ahead.
No, but that is a great question. I always get the assistant coach. So my crew, all my assistant coaches are older than me. So I keep the wiser guys as my assistant. You know what I mean? So they're 50, 20 years older than me, right? And I always get the like, I'm sitting on the bench, and usually I sit on the bench, by myself before games, and a ref would literally walk past me to go shake my assistant coach's hands. Which is cool though, which is like, okay, well, I feel young, you know what I mean? So I'm
you feel the good old boys club.
But I will say, when I first started, I didn't, not at all, not respected, nothing against my school, nothing against the coaches. And I'm not, for me, I knew I had to make a name for myself. So I wasn't going out to seek to, hey, what's up, coach? I mean, I introduced myself, but I wasn't going out to seek it. So no, to be honest with you, no, I wasn't respecting my first 3 years until I won this past season. And now when I walk into the gym, hey, Coach Howard, how you doing, Coach Howard? What's up, Coach Howard? I got some kids for you. They may want to hoop for you, Coach Howard. It's just like, but it's all good though. You know what I mean? Because I don't, and me, I don't look for, accolades. I don't really care about it. It don't really faze me. I'm just more so about the grind and work and let everything else talk for itself. But that's funny that you asked that question. That's probably the first question I've been asked about that. But at my first 3 years, no, like I wouldn't respect it at all. But my kids respect me, my coaches respect me. I mean, that's at the end of the day, and my AD definitely respects me. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
What are some of the things from Tennessee State you learned that helps you today, like with coaching kids, with helping, assisting them? Like, what are some things you learned at TSU that helps you today?
One is handle adversity. I mean, you go to HBCU, you're going to have to handle some adversity. And then two is just more so mentoring. So when I went to TSU, I got involved in SGA. I got involved in mentorship programs at the school. I got involved with gym, some other things like just general educated men, which was a big movement on campus, and just wanted to get involved with things to make an impact on the younger generation. Growing up, like I said, I grew up in Miami, military kid. My brother kind of ran the streets or whatever, so I had to be like an older brother a little quick. My dad worked 2 jobs. My mom worked 2 jobs, and I had a little brother. So I had to learn quick, as far as, being a young man. And I always tapped into, my little cousins. I'm kind of the older cousin out of my little cousins. So I was always like the older brother, quote unquote, figure around my family. So I think just understanding that and having that foundation has made me, kind of who I am or mold me to who I am today. And just having that ability to be able to lead the younger generation and wanted to impact the younger generation. I think that helped me transition to TSU, and TSU kind of enhanced that, that level to be able to adjust, to be able to be handle adversity, and also to be able to lead.
Was you ever purged? Talk about adversity. Was you ever purged in class?
Oh yes, I was purged. So here's the thing: I was purged not because of anything that I did. So I played football at TSU. And the athletic department didn't put my money on my on my account when it needed to be, and I got purged. But I got it fixed quickly, though. And that was, I had a scholarship, partial scholarship at Tennessee State for football. So I was an athlete. I was an athlete back in the day.
Why TSU, bro? HBCU, Miami, Atlanta, a lot of HBCUs in those areas. Like, what brought you to Tennessee State in Nashville, man?
So I was going on tours and having visits from different schools. So I'll never forget this like yesterday. So I had went to Duluth High School. If you in Atlanta, everybody know Duluth High School. Very, very non-Black. I'll tell you that. I just wanted to go to an HBCU. First of all, I wanted to get away from Atlanta, just be a buck about that. And I knew I wanted to leave home. And so I went to Georgia Tech, Valdosta State, Coastal Carolina. I think Coastal Carolina had just opened at this time, or was newer college at this time, and TSU. On these visits, Coastal Carolina it was new. No, but they were offering me a full ride. Like, nah, I'm good on this. I didn't know what was going on around there. I had Carson Newman as well. And that was for basketball, but I didn't like that. Georgia Tech almost had me because they invited me to a Clemson game and sat behind the goalpost. And that was very, very cool. But I was like, I don't want to be in Georgia. And I went to TSU homecoming. and they brought me on that visit. And when I tell you, I made my decision that same day. And I was very involved in engineering. I love math and science. That was my favorite two subjects, which is why I chose Georgia Tech and Valdosta State, because they had good engineering programs, not only just sports as well. But then I went to TSU, and they had one of the top engineering programs at that time. And also, they had the ladies as well. So I definitely that selection was definitely made very, very quickly.
Oh, speaking about making a selection quickly, I went on no campus visits. I go to orientation, and I'm like, and that was like 2 weeks before school start. No, probably like 4 weeks. I told my folks, leave me here. I am not going back home. And when they said the ratio was like 10-1, I was like, bro, it's no dudes here. Our girls just go to college, bro. Who don't sign up for this?
I'm telling you, that tour that I went on homecoming, and it was a basketball homecoming. It wasn't a football homecoming. It was a basketball homecoming. I think it was Fisk or something like that.
Yep.
When they used to have it, and man, oh man, I tell you, I was like, yep, this is where I'm going to be.
You're like Jesus Shuttleworth for Ball State.
No comment.
That's a great movie, man. That's a great movie.
Great movie, by the way. That's one they don't need to remake. I know all these remakes coming up. They don't need to remake that one.
Man, they got White Man Can't Jump 2 coming out, man. I'm like, what y'all doing, man?
And they got the house party. You seen the house party joint?
Yeah, I heard about that. So I'm buying LeBron involved, so I feel like it's gonna be decent.
Okay.
Funny story. It's a homeboy I know. Like he was actually in it. You know what I'm saying? He had like a small role. Yeah. He was sending pictures like when he was on the set about 6-7 months ago. And like he sent me the trailer last week, man. He's so crunk about it. Oh, man, well, do you?
I mean, it's Black, narrated everything. So I'm definitely gonna support it, but some just don't need to be remade. You know what I mean?
I agree, because when you remake it and it don't hit, it's like Coming to America 2. They could have left that one
all the way alone.
And I heard they were talking about doing a Harlem Nights where they won't be like everybody had kids, which sound dope, but it's like can't mess with these classics. Like leave them alone.
I actually think White Man Can't Jump is probably going to be good though.
You think so?
I think so. Hopefully, right? Hopefully.
So, Coach. So what's one or two things that keep you up at night being a head coach, man? Like.
Man, y'all got some good questions, man. Y'all must have really thought about these questions.
Listen, man, it's real life. I think about these questions. Like in interviews, I ask people this. Like when I'm interviewing for a job, I'm like, what keeps you up at night? So I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. So me knowing you being my line brother, first of all, kept outside trying to incorporate Alpha chapter. My front, meaning when we say front, I was holding him up, man. So he was my front, I was his back, so I held him down, man. We pushed through and made it together. But yeah, like I mean, I can only imagine the struggles you've been through. I can imagine you probably want to not give up, but it just got so hard on you. Being a young dad, having a young kid, a son at that, and then kind of like trying to be this head coach and knowing like. Know what you can bring to the table, but dealing with all this adversity, like we talked about earlier. But like, what's one or two things like keep you up at night? Other than the number one dude on the other team, that's 25.
Yeah,
hanging on everybody.
That part. That's definitely 1A. But I think a lot of things is that the things that you can't control. Like I can't control. Okay. Let's take for instance. So tomorrow morning, so I have early morning workout, 6 a.m. to 7:20 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've been doing it for the past 2 months, right? And my fear is that somebody's gonna get hurt. That's just before the season even starts. You know what I mean? So my fear is like injuries because I can't control it. I don't really know. And then another thing is like how they gonna act in school? You know what I mean? They're gonna suspend it, they're gonna fight because those things do affect do affect like the roster, they affect playing time, they affect, if they could be on a team. I've had kids that had some off court things that just they couldn't be on a team. I had to kick the kid off. And you think that you don't have to deal with that type of stuff, or it may not come up, or it may come up, but I don't have to deal with that, but it does. Those things do actually, like, I worry about, like, man, I can't get these kids hurt. Do I need to calm down on working out? I mean, I also got them running cross country. Like they have to run cross country. So it's just some things that you can't control that kind of keeps me up. Other than that, like I say, if it's game time, of course, it's scouting. Are we ready? Because we're young. I'm bringing back 8 sophomores. That's going to be on the varsity. That's kind of really unheard of. You know what I mean? So those things that you can't control really, really like keeps me up at night too. No,
that's interesting. You say that earlier point about the off the court, because I've heard basketball coaches, football coaches, college, high school, when you're dealing with young teens, they're like, when you leave out my eyesight, I don't want to get that phone call or that text message or that email. Like when they leave out your sight, you concerned, like as a coach, like, and so like a parent in a sense, because you're like, anything can happen until I see them again. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's interesting you said that, because I've heard several coaches say that, like you can't, like you say, you can't control it, but you just hope that they just don't do nothing crazy. Have a good time, enjoy your life, be a teenager, but be able to play, man. Like,
Right.
Keep your grades straight, don't get kicked out of school. That's all I need.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
From a player standpoint, like how much you think is talent and how much you think is coaching that gets a player to be getting a college scholarship, being able to go to college, and even professor? Like how much is coaching, how much is actually raw talent?
Good question.
You know what? I mean, just to be real, coaching is probably like 20%, if that. You know what I mean? Coaches are the gatekeeper to get kids to college. You know what I mean? They're the guide, to get to college. My job is always to make sure that mom and dad is not paying for college, if that's where they're trying to go basketball wise. Everything else is up to the kid, but up to the player. But my job is always to make sure mom and dad either has to pay minimum or less than or none for college. So I'm always in the mindset of, just making sure I do my job to be available and to be a vessel for the players. I don't think, because at the end of the day, like if you're playing AAU, that's mostly, like how you get scouted now, because the environment's just changed. High school is just more so to build upon your resume to see how you can play at a kind of an organized level. Because I don't care what any kid say, you got to play high school basketball. That is not going away. You have to, because of the ability. It just changes. It's different. It's different at AAU. AAU just going up and down, up and up, up and down. Organized basketball is just so different. So I would say 20% is coaching. Maybe a little. Some coaches may be mad that coaches is more of that, but I think coaching is just more so the guidance and a vessel to be able to help or extend the help for said player.
So what about the leagues that's out now that's like picking the high school students and they're like in a league for a year or 2 years before they go pro, either NBA or go overseas if they don't make it? Like, what do you think about those? You think those are beneficial, or do you think those actually hurt the development of a kid?
So my belief is that it's only beneficial if you need the money fast. Because they get paid as soon as they go over to the G League, and which is fine, and I applaud, because some kids need it. Like some kids just need that. However, I mean, you talk about Jaden, who just went to the Mavs. He was supposed to be a top pick, but he didn't even go in the first round. And he went to the G League. So it's the number, like Jalen Green, he was supposed to be. I think if he went to college, he would have been a top. He plays for Houston now, Houston Rockets. I think he probably would have been a top 2. I mean, he still went top 5 in the draft, but I don't know if it helps, because I haven't seen anything that it helped for a player who's trying to be high ranked. I just think the college just gives you a higher platform. It gives you a more of an environment that you may be in, because in the G League you don't have many fans that's there. You don't have that aura of just fandom, which I think that is also, when the lights are bright, it's a different ball game. I don't care what anybody say. When the lights are bright, it's a totally different ball game. I always say you got those practice players and you got those game players. So I just think the G League, it's good for those who need it monetarily, and who wants to put themselves in position. But I definitely would go with college, because it's just more of it's different. It's different. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just different.
Yeah. So let me piggyback off that, because you're in a unique position, because you play college and now you coach. And it's a whole new era of NIL. So, like, what are your thoughts about NIL?
Yeah,
it's helpful, but like, how helpful is it? Is it hurtful? Can it be manipulative? Like, what do you think about NIL right now?
I mean, I kind of the same way. Like NIL, I do believe it is helpful, because I believe college players should be paid. Like, if you're going to earn a buck off their name, you definitely need to pay them dollars. How that looks, put a cap on it, put a stipend on it. I really don't up the stipend. I'm not really sure how that looks, but I definitely think that the NIL is good for the players in its totality. However, everybody's not getting the NIL.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Right. So that like you're not really solving the issue. You're kind of, sweeping it under the rug a little bit, like just kind of sweeping the dirt a little bit under the rug until you unveil it. But and then also too, they're just they're not really, they're saying that, oh, they got a $1 million deal, but they really got like a $50,000 deal. You know what I mean? It's not really $1 million. So everything is kind of, not really true. And then also how I think it there's two things. I think it's affected in a positive way, but negatively, I think it hurts because now these kids are just looking for an NIL deal and they're not NIL talent. So, you know what I mean? Like everybody's not an NIL player, you know what I mean? And it's kind of hard to tell a player that because, as men, we're so competitive and confident.
You gotta tell them they don't get an NIL deal. It's like, I guess you ain't that. So what I was gonna say was, like take Jackson State, prime example. You got Dion down there. You got his two sons. Uh-huh. Shador got probably every NIL deal there is. So now you got maybe one of the wideouts he throw the ball to, or the running back that's doing all this muscle. And they like, man, like you got your dad, you got all this NIL money. Like, bro, show me some love, break some bread, help me get an NIL deal. So it's like, so now is it tension in the locker rooms? Because it's like the dudes that got NIL deals, they going on visits and they taking pictures and got all these photo ops to do. And then the other guys in the locker room like, so like we ain't important? And so I'm thinking, I heard Grambling coach he gave the whole program an NIL stipend. Like they gave the whole program that. And so I'm thinking like at Shador, I would be like, I get NIL money, I'm breaking my teammates off, like buying them gifts, putting money in their pocket, like to keep the camaraderie in the locker room, because I can only imagine, like even back in the day, they shake hand and giving dude $2,000 and they like, bro, we all went out there and won the game. Like I'm blocking you, you the quarterback. Like, so what you think about that? Because I don't know. I could be wrong. I ain't been in these locker rooms with the NIL people situation, but I can only imagine somebody thinking like that.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it's just like, if put it like this, I think of it as as a coach, I have my top player. I may give him a little bit more leash, a little bit more bone than I would the eighth player on the bench. And the eighth player on the bench may make the same mistake, but I may pull his ass out real quickly. But my starter may make the exact same thing. And I say, okay, well, we'll get him, you'll get it next time. You know what I mean? It's just levels to it. Just like you say, it's just levels to it. And if you don't understand, if the eighth player don't understand that why I give him this privilege, or why he has this privilege, or I give him a little bone or a little leash, then he's worried about the wrong thing. When I think about, like, that's just like me, envy of you because you're successful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work harder. How can I get where T-Wig's at? What do I need to do? Maybe I need to ask T-Wigs questions of how I need to get to where he is. And I think that's we and that's just not young kids. It's all of us. Like we see it from just like the front lens. Like we don't kind of go under the lens and open it up and, hey, let me ask a question. How can I be like him? It's always like, I got to be better. You know what I mean? I got to have more. So I just think it's just like envy. And it's going to be envy if the guy is getting more dollars and, I should be getting what he be getting. And it's just, we have that mentality. I think we just need to get out of and more so, hey T-Wigs, you got, how do I get where you are? You know what I mean? And I think we build like that. Shoot, everybody have NIL deals.
Yeah. So here, we talk about HBCUs. We support HBCUs. If you have a kid who has the opportunity, just like you did, either get a scholarship, everything's equal, right? PWI or HBCU. Why, if you would, but then why would you lead them towards going to HBCU to play basketball and scholastically compared to a PWI?
I mean, I have friends who, and I'm pretty sure we all do have friends that have been to PWI. And with HBCUs, I just think that HBCUs, you have to teach yourself things. You know what I mean? You have to figure it out on your own in some ways. Like, I mean, you're not going into HBCU and just deer in the headlights or anything like that. Nobody's going to guide you. And I know it's way different than when we went through school. So it's a little bit more helpful and more guidance and more money. But I will say it's just HBCUs just teach you more of life teachings. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's more of, not only that, the parties are more better. I don't care what anybody say. You know, and also I feel that when you go to like a University of Maryland or University of Missouri, and because I've been to these campuses, it's like it's so spread out. You don't know everybody. You can't reach out to everybody. You can't connect with everybody. And not all schools you're going to do that. But at HBCUs, it's family. Any HBCU you go to, it's like family, right? So I think having that ability to be able to teach yourself and to be able to make a community or build a community within the school campus and impact not only the community on campus, but also outside of campus. Because a lot of HBCUs are in some inner city places that a kid, you know, needs you to talk to them. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, the PWI schools, they're in nice places where you don't really need to do that. You know what I mean? And I just think that I know that it being a product of it, HBCUs teaches you more of life teachings to help better yourself as a character after you graduate.
Right. So this show is about giving you your flowers, man. Like, I've seen where you came from. I've seen your growth. But you doing this, coach. You ain't doing this. So in a perfect world, you keep elevating, you get yourself to the next level. That may mean coaching on a college level. If you had your pick, you got a PWI, HBCU. Where you going, coach? What you doing?
What we doing, coach?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Everything's equal, but you know what you know.
I'm gonna be a 1,000 with you. Show me the money.
Friends with it. You go with it.
Now, let me say this. I promise you, like, you know, because that's what, because T-Wigs know that's where I do want to go. I want to get to the next level, however that looks. But I would never turn down an HBCU deal, though. You know what I mean? So even if it is HBCU and PWI, you know, whoever offers, and then of course, like I said, I'm gonna show me the money. But at the same token, you know, if it's the right situation, and I have the right support. And here's the thing that you guys probably don't know. Like, you have to have the support of your athletic director in the school to be able to be successful. You know what I mean? Like, to be battling with your ADs or your, like, because first of all, you got to go through them for money, right? You got to get recruits. So, and just learning that, because I thought it was just like, hey, I'm a coach and but no, man, just kind of sitting under my coach who, when I was assistant, and just learning things and kind of gravitating to certain things, it's just like, oh man, you got to build relationships with your own athletic director and your own president of the school. So, you know, it's all about the right situation. And if the right situation at HBCU over PWI, I'm going with that, regardless of the money. Because if I don't have no support, and let's say, you know, I mentioned University of Maryland, decides, hey, I want to bring you on, but, you know, you got to find it out by yourself. And TSU would say, hey, we got this for you. This is your budget. This is what, you know, they already got it down packed. I'm going with TSU. And because that's just, you know, because if you're going to University of Maryland, you're just setting yourself up for failure, and the money ain't going to buy you happiness like that.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, football players going to HBCUs. We heard like the one basketball player went to Howard. I know it didn't turn out like everybody thought it would be. He got drafted, but second round, but not as high as people thought. So like, What do you think is going to be the turning point to have now these high profile basketball players go to HBCUs instead of PWIs?
I think it started, you know what I mean? And it's quiet as kept. You know, you see, you know, Mercy go, you know, he went to Mercy Miller, excuse me, Master P son. You know, and that didn't work out. But, you know, they are starting to, I think the wave is starting to come. And I think the more that some of these high class players, you know, just say, hey, my talent is my talent, because you see the football players are doing it. My talent is my talent, then that's where I'm going to go. And I think the more and more we do it, and as coaches, hey, look, you ain't got no D1 offers right now. And it's okay to tell your players that, like, you're not a D1 kid. You know what I mean? And I tell my kids, and they know me. You're not there right now. You're just not there. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say, yeah, no, you're not. You're not. You're not a D1 player. You're not a D2 player. You know, so just go ahead and get what you can and build on it, because you still, you know, you have the access to transfer now. You could transfer your time. You could take, you know, now you can red shirt, gray shirt whenever you want to, and all that other stuff. So, you know, and one thing I've noticed is that us as parents, we gotta tell our kids that, dude, you ain't that. And we don't do that enough.
Stop giving awards to the whole team. You get an award.
Nah, just be true, man. Just be true, be honest, and, you know, be candid, but, you know, be respectful at the same time. I always say, kick him in the butt, pat him on the back at the same time.
What is the best homecoming? So if you had to go one place, one weekend for homecoming, where would that be?
Man, I've been to some homecomings. TSU, man. TSU, man. TSU. I will say I've been to North Carolina A&T. I've been to some, you know, some good, but TSU is by far the best home. And I'm not saying because I'm an alumni, but it's fun, man. From sun up to sundown, it's fun, man. Every day. TSU. Tennessee State, not Texas. Tennessee State University.
Yeah. My Texas Southern, yeah.
My coach, Rapid Fires, man, for me. We were around the same age, so curious to hear who your top 5 all time.
Players?
In order.
Ooh, in order. Ooh.
Yeah, put the pressure on in order.
Okay. You go. So this is my players. And
Your
who I
your personal, it could be dudes you played in high school with that nobody know about, but he the truth.
I did play. Lou Will was in my conference. Lou Will, that boy was good. He dunked on our center his freshman year. It was pretty bad. And he averaged like 33 that year. But anyway, but he was cold. Him and Josh Smith it was on my same AAU circuit. But anyway, top 5. Okay, first Michael Jordan.
Okay.
I mean that's inevitable. Kobe would be second. Kobe is my dude. Third. Who?
Taking too long.
No, Akeem Olajuwon. I used to look at his footwork when I was younger.
He was nice.
Akeem Olajuwon would be my third. And you know, I'm not big on, like, you know, scoring and all that other stuff. I know, you know, fourth, you know, because he's true to I had his number. I tried to mock him. Dwayne Wade.
True. I used to watch him in Marquette get buckets. I like he gonna be that man.
And he represent Miami. You know what I mean? He got all the championships in Miami. So that's just a homebred.
Hey, County.
Yep. So lastly, fifth.
Man, LeBron ain't even in that joint.
Man, I was waiting. I was waiting for LeBron.
I ain't even let him get it out. I'm like, damn, LeBron ain't in there? Damn, all right.
Man. Fifth.
No big man, one big man.
Allen Iverson, man.
Ooh.
I mean, I like LeBron, but
come on, bro.
I like LeBron. Here's my thing. When I think about these players, I just think about who I watch to develop my game. I watch Elijah Wan for footwork. I watch with D Wade just as a guard, a small guard, finishing at the basket. Al Iverson, he was just my type of player. Like he played quick, he played like me, or I played like him. I know he played like me. I play like him. And with Jordan and Kobe, everybody wanted to be Jordan, and I just loved Kobe. That was like one of my first pair of shoes with Kobe with it's like the spider looking shoes that he had like little black and white joints. Crazy Eights. Those are like my
Adidas
hooping shoes. Yep. My Crazy Eights was like one of my first pair of hooping shoes. So, those are just more so of who I watched. LeBron's cool. He came to my Bryan. You know me. I ain't no LeBron fan like that.
Yeah, that's why he ain't in there, bro. Yeah. That's why he ain't in there.
Yeah, he ain't in LeBron.
I can't believe a coach who won a championship and gonna put LeBron on his top 3, never less top 5. Man, what are we doing here?
So he'll be my 6, but I just don't. Brian just wasn't.
He from Ohio, bro. He from Cincinnati. So
okay. I knew it was something. It had to be somebody. I thought he owed him money or something like that.
Oh no! So you know about LeBron's story, then, do you? Yeah. So look, I had the opportunity. It was a Bob Huggins Classic. Had the opportunity to share the same court with LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know who he was. He was just a big old dude with a beard. He was a freshman. I was a senior. I ain't guard him or nothing, but you know what I'm saying? I was on the court for about 15 seconds with LeBron, and he dunked on one of us. And boy, and they got me out though. Like I was, you know what I'm saying? I was one of the worst ones on the court. But my claim to fame is that I shared the court with LeBron James, man.
Oh man,
he told me freshman year, he was like, bro, you heard about LeBron James? I'm like, who? I know all the Memphis Hoopers, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all them going to the league. Like, what you talking about? He's like, nah, bro, LeBron James. So he was probably in the 9th grade or something, then 10th grade, maybe, I think 9th grade. I was like, I'm going to check him out. I see this big dude, long shorts. He got the tattoos covered up the little things. I'm like, what's that about? He Catholic school, he had covered the tattoos. Okay.
Right.
And after I started catching on to him, I was like, oh, he next thing, bro. I was like, he next level. Like, the way I feel about LeBron now, people say what they want about his play, about him not being a dog. I never forget the All-Star game when Kobe gave him the ball and was like, do your thing. He passed it back. Kobe like, bro, go crazy. So he ain't the dog. He a Magic Johnson type player. He like passing the ball. He like seeing others finish, which is why he always need people around him to be great, because he gonna pass the ball. He gonna, but I'm just like, he ain't that kind of player. When we try to put him in the category with Jordan, Kobe, they was different. AI different. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do that. I mean, he did score 37 in a row. You know what I'm saying? When he was with Cleveland against Detroit. Look,
37 in a row. I mean, who does that, bro? 37 in a row? Man, come on,
man.
Put some respect on his name, bro.
I will say this year is looking very Washington Wizardess.
Because of Westbrook. Jordan.
Look, blame it on Westbrook.
Because Jordan last year, he averaged about 22, 21 at 40. He was still averaging about 40, but nobody knew because it was the Washington Wizards. But no, LeBron. I will say this. I definitely LeBron is top 1 when it comes to business, marketing off the court. Like, no athlete, basketball, or even just athletic wise, has been the model of who or what an athlete is supposed to be on and off the court. Like, 100%. I tell any player, follow LeBron in what, if you're trying to be successful. Like, he used basketball to capitalize on the platform to build not only a community, but a school, things for kids. He got a book. I mean, I even got the book, I Promise, for my son that I read. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing things to impact the youth, and also the Black community, not just the Black community, but just the youth. You know what I mean, to develop character. So yeah, he's definitely top on that in that realm. But play wise, I can't put him in.
So look, staying with the king, right? All right, who the better kid, Bryce or Bronny? Who gonna be the better?
Bryce.
better
Bryce is gonna be better. Bryce is
You
gonna
know
be
what? I've been seeing Bronny lately. I think he been hearing it. He been going crazy.
He been going crazy.
He been going crazy here in the last couple months. I'm
He
like,
been developing every year though. That's what I like about him. Like
Yeah.
he ain't settling because my dad is LeBron. Like he want to go get it. And he don't even want to be called, Bronny, really. He actually want to be called his whole name. So I definitely but I think Bryce is going to find a spark and he's going to be. I don't think he has a dog as Bronny though.
Yeah, I agree. He gonna get it though, because he gonna grow into his body. Because he like 6'7" now. He like 14, 15, and so he gonna be like that Euro kind of player. Like he ain't gonna be big, but he gonna be tall, and he gonna learn how to play with his height.
Yep.
And I'm curious to see how he gonna develop, because I think he gonna be. I mean, already now he like nice.
Yeah,
like, he gonna be good. He got 3 more years high school. Like crazy.
And I was going to ask, Mark, you want Bronny to go to Ohio State?
Of course. They was there at the Notre Dame game. You know what I'm saying? We won Brownie, so of course it's gonna bring so much money to the school. I mean
that they don't already have.
They don't already
let the rich get richer. But at the end of the day, it don't matter about Brownie, man, because the number one player is Wanyama. I mean that boy is just. I mean he is like a unicorn, bro. 7'4", dunking, shooting like Dirk, like he
Lil Giannis part 2.
No, when he go into his body,
shot, bro, with a man. He's nice.
He's the next thing. He's the next big thing. Yeah. Very injury, but he's the next big thing, man.
What do you think about Mikey Williams though? He ain't been a little quiet here lately.
He's been quiet. So here's my thing. Mikey Williams is like 20 years old, man. He reclassified like 3 times. I mean, he's about 18, but he's reclassified like twice. He's supposed to graduate like last year. And I think as what we're seeing, or I guess what I'm observing, is that he's kind of like a little bit ahead, but he's playing guys that are now his age, his physique, and he's not dominated as he was, a year ago. I just think that has to do with, people's learning his game. He's playing guys who's going, at his level. And I'm waiting to see how that looks at the next level.
Yeah.
Reclassifying don't make you better. Let me just say that. Let me put that on wax. Reclassifying don't make you better. It puts you in a better position, but I always tell kids, if you want to reclassify 8th grade, 7th grade. You reclassify 9th grade, 10th grade. It's just a little suspect. But I'm gonna leave that alone. That's another topic for another day.
We're gonna talk about the new young king, Ja. What you think about my man Ja in the M-Town?
Oh, right now he's leading MVP. Right now he's leading MVP. My preseason MVP was going to be Giannis. It was Giannis, but Giannis and KD. I don't think KD and them are going to be successful this year. I don't see it. But with that being said, Giannis' team is going to be probably top 4, top 3 in the East. He might win it. And then Ja, on the other hand, they probably be top, in the West, top 2, top 3 in the West. So it'll probably come down to them two. But I love Ja. Just wish that, he calmed down a little bit on these little dunks. Save your body, dog. It's just the 3rd game of the season.
The trainer be telling him, he said every time he come down on the ground, he be like, how you be landing? He was like, that's just how he play, man.
That's the thing. He always in go mode, and I'm pretty sure as a coach he loves it. But something like, hey man, you just preserve yourself, dog.
Lay the ball up, kid.
Let Bane take care of some of that stuff, man. Yeah.
If you have a kid that's about to go to college, or they want to build their brand, like what do you tell them from a social media standpoint so that they don't get in trouble, but at the same time they're productive and try to get to some money, as they kind of build their brand? Like what is those conversations like? Because I know social media wasn't around when we was in school from a high school standpoint. So what are those conversations like?
So that's funny that you say that. And actually in the coaches meeting tonight, we were talking about social media stuff. And I actually talk to my kids every year about social media. If you're using your social media as a platform to reach out to coaches, it can't be your personal social media. Like you can't, be putting up girls, shaking, and all that other stuff. And, it has to be professional because coaches look at that. Like I know a scout, like a scout was looking at a kid and he didn't choose the kid because of social media.
Wow.
Like scouts really, really take that in because in his eyes, it was more so of like he can't condone himself. He's not professional. He doesn't take it seriously.
Of course, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and I tell my kids, perception is 9/10 reality. Whatever that you're seeing, 9 times out of 10 that you're putting out there, and I don't know you, and I'm scouting you, and the only thing I have is social media or email or a phone call. Like that first impression is the most valuable thing. So if you got girls all on your profile and you cursing all on your profile or all on your social media, I don't know scout. They're not gonna want that. So just present yourself professionally when you're on social media.
It's interesting to hear, man. Like
Don't hit send.
we were saying, Mario, like we didn't have social media, but now they gotta carry themselves a certain way. They have to present themselves a certain way on social media, and their game got to be on point. Like they got a lot to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Man. But it's all about adapting. You know what I'm saying? As I mentioned earlier, earlier in the podcast, it's all about adversity. Like just handling adversity, understanding adjusting to it, adjusting to the environment, because it's just like a job. You know what I mean? Different. Every job is not the same. But you got to treat it differently in every way you go, but professionally, because at the end of the day, us as Black men, things are just different, and we got to understand how to approach it. Don't mean we have to dumb it down to be different, just more so approach it in a way that it's understood.
All good. Appreciate you, Coach. I know it's a minute for get on, but I know the season is ramping up, so I appreciate you giving us some of your time.
No problem, man. And want to follow me? My name Coach Howard. Follow me on Twitter, head Coach Howard or Bryan or Coach Bryan Howard, and on Instagram BE_Howard. You'll follow me. Concordia Prep High School, Coach Howard.
Awesome, man. Well, Bryan, we appreciate it. Appreciate all your support, man. You got all the socials, man. Follow us. You see all the socials all through the show, man. So definitely support our mans, man. He went from.
Let me say one thing. I'm going to cut you off, and I'll let you finish. I want to say, before I forget, I appreciate you guys doing this, man. And T-Wigs, from the bottom of my heart, I love you to do always. Anything that you need from me. I love you guys. Clothing line, man. Keep doing that. Keep doing that shit, man. For real. I support it. And keep doing what you guys doing. And if you need me for anything, man, just let me know, T. Let me know, Mario. I'm always here. So I appreciate it.
I was gonna support you, Coach.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Salute. Ain't nothing else to say, man. Peace,
man.